Here is a Sumerian tablet that actually shows the tree of life, flanked by divine beings. You can see here the Anunnaki on each side.
What if thousands of broken Sumerian tablets, buried for over 4,000 years, were finally decoded with the help of Grok AI? Recent AI analysis has connected ancient fragments that puzzled scholars for generations, revealing surprising patterns about humanity's origins. Some see these discoveries as a better understanding of ancient mythology, while others believe they preserve forgotten traditions. So what exactly did Grok AI uncover? And why is everyone talking about it? When artificial intelligence met ancient history. Long before paper, books, or modern alphabets existed, the Sumerians recorded their knowledge on clay tablets using one of the world's earliest writing systems, cuneiform. For thousands of years, these tablets remained buried beneath the deserts of ancient Mesopotamia. When archaeologists finally uncovered them in cities such as Eridu and Nippur, they discovered thousands of fragments. Some contained royal records. Others described trade, religion, agriculture, or daily life. Many, however, were badly damaged. Some had only a few surviving lines. Others were broken into dozens of pieces that had become scattered across museums and private collections around the world. For more than a century, scholars worked to translate them. The task wasn't easy. A single cuneiform symbol can have multiple meanings depending on its context. Entire sentences were often missing, making it difficult to understand the full story. In many cases, researchers had only isolated fragments with no obvious connection to one another. That began to change in recent years. New AI models trained on thousands of Sumerian, Akkadian, and Babylonian texts can do far more than translate words. They compare writing styles, recognize recurring patterns, predict missing sections, and identify fragments that may belong to the same document. Instead of treating every tablet as a separate puzzle, AI can analyze thousands of texts at once. AI didn't discover new tablets. Instead, it revealed new relationships between existing texts, helping researchers organize ancient information more effectively. As these connections became clearer, several familiar stories started forming a much larger picture. Among them were repeated references to humanity's origins, mysterious beings known as the gods, and different groups of people appearing throughout Sumerian literature. Naturally, these discoveries attracted enormous attention online. Some claimed AI had uncovered proof that ancient myths were actually historical records. Others argued the technology was simply helping scholars better understand symbolic religious texts. Whatever the explanation, one thing became clear. The debate wasn't really about artificial intelligence. It was about what those ancient writings may have meant all along. Then researchers noticed something even stranger. The tablets didn't seem to describe humanity as a single group. Did the Sumerians describe different types of humans? As Grok AI compared thousands of Sumerian tablets, one pattern kept appearing. The texts didn't always describe humanity as a single, identical group. Instead, they used different names for different people, suggesting that ancient Sumerian writers may have viewed humanity in several categories. Two of the most discussed terms are Lulu and Sagiga. For years, scholars generally translated these as ordinary names for humans. But when AI compared hundreds of tablets together, subtle differences in how the words were used began to stand out. In many passages, Lulu appears to refer to ordinary people, while Sagiga, often translated as the black-headed people, is frequently associated with the people of Sumer themselves. Some alternative interpretations go even further. According to a few researchers, repeated descriptions of hardworking, obedient groups assigned to specific tasks may suggest different classes of workers rather than different biological types of humans. That's an important distinction. The tablets never clearly state that separate human species existed. Instead, they describe people with different roles, responsibilities, and social functions. Whether those differences were symbolic, cultural, or something else remains a subject of debate. As AI continued connecting fragmented texts, another location appeared repeatedly. It was called Eden. Many people immediately associate the name with the biblical Garden of Eden. But in Sumerian literature, Eden usually refers to a plain or open countryside rather than a paradise. Some interpretations describe it as an important working region located between rivers in ancient Mesopotamia. Several tablets mention groups being formed, assigned duties, and later sent to different places. Some researchers interpret these passages as administrative records describing labor organization. Others see them as symbolic creation stories explaining humanity's purpose through mythology. A more speculative idea, often called the human prototype theory, suggests these accounts describe different stages in humanity's development. Supporters point to repeated references to groups that disappear, are replaced, or are described differently across multiple texts. Mainstream historians, however, generally interpret these passages as mythological narratives rather than historical records of human experimentation. AI showed these stories weren't isolated. They appeared repeatedly across tablets from different places and time periods. That doesn't prove every interpretation is correct, but it does suggest the Sumerians returned to the same themes again and again. Questions about where humans came from, why society was organized the way it was, and how knowledge shaped civilization itself. Those themes become even more interesting when one particular figure begins appearing throughout the tablets, a deity known as Enki. According to Sumerian tradition, Enki wasn't simply a god of water. He was also associated with wisdom, craftsmanship, and the creation of civilization itself. And in later interpretations of these ancient stories, he becomes one of the central figures in humanity's origin. Enki, Adapa, and the search for human potential. As Grok AI connected more tablets, one name appeared again and again, Enki. In Sumerian mythology, Enki is the god of wisdom, knowledge, craftsmanship, and fresh water. Many stories portray him as a protector of humanity and a teacher who helped people develop civilization. Some interpretations of the tablets suggest that Enki played a role in improving humanity over time. Modern readers sometimes compare these stories to ideas like genetic engineering or human enhancement, although those terms never appear in the ancient texts themselves. Instead, the tablets describe humans becoming wiser, more capable, and better equipped to survive. One figure often linked to this transformation is Adapa. According to Sumerian tradition, Adapa was created with extraordinary wisdom and served as a loyal priest of Enki. Unlike ordinary people, he was known for his intelligence and ability to communicate with the gods. His story reaches its turning point when he is summoned before Anu, the sky god. There, Adapa is offered the food and water of life, which could grant immortality. But following Enki's instructions, he refuses both gifts. As a result, he loses the chance to live forever. Adapa's story explores timeless themes of knowledge, obedience, free will, and human limitations. As AI linked more texts together, another recurring pattern emerged. Another recurring theme was the relationship between Enki and Enlil. In many Sumerian stories, Enki is portrayed as helping humanity through wisdom and innovation, while Enlil is often associated with order, authority, and maintaining balance. Some alternative interpretations suggest this represents a conflict over humanity's future, whether people should gain greater knowledge or remain within defined limits. Most historians, however, see this as a symbolic struggle between different divine roles rather than evidence of actual historical events. Still, the theme appears repeatedly throughout Sumerian literature: knowledge, power, and who should control both. Floods, lost knowledge, and AI's biggest discovery. One of the most famous stories preserved in Sumerian literature is the Great Flood. According to the ancient texts, Enki secretly warned a righteous man named Ziusudra about a coming disaster and instructed him to preserve life. Centuries later, similar stories appeared in the Epic of Gilgamesh, and eventually in the biblical account of Noah. AI didn't discover this connection. Scholars have known about it for generations. What AI did was reveal how often themes like survival, human origins, divine knowledge, and civilization appear across thousands of different tablets. It showed that these weren't isolated stories. They formed a connected tradition shared across centuries. Some online discussions have gone much further, claiming the tablets describe advanced technology, flying machines, hidden knowledge, or even evidence of forgotten civilizations. Mainstream scholars remain cautious. Most interpret these passages as mythology, symbolism, or poetic descriptions, rather than literal accounts of advanced science. Even so, the questions remain fascinating. How did one of the world's earliest civilizations develop such detailed stories about creation, floods, kings, and the origins of knowledge? Why do similar themes appear in cultures separated by thousands of kilometers? And what can modern technology still uncover from writings created more than 4,000 years ago? AI hasn't rewritten history. It has simply helped researchers connect scattered pieces of the ancient past. Whether these tablets preserve myths, memories of real events, or a blend of both is still debated. But they continue to remind us that humanity has been asking the same fundamental questions for thousands of years. Where did we come from? Why are we here? And how much of our past remains hidden beneath the sands of time? Whether these tablets preserve mythology, history, or a blend of both, they continue to challenge what we know about the ancient world. What do you think? Let us know below and subscribe for more historical mysteries.